Welcome to Castrol Activ Champions. Our champion today took 563 Test match wickets. He had 3 World Cup winning medals. He played in 4, but he won 3, and he retired at the end of the 2007 World Cup as the player of the tournament. Not many are privileged to live on the heights that Glenn McGrath did, and what a cricketer he was. 563 Test wickets. Somebody once told me that he remembered every single one of those, and I thought we'd put him to the test. I used to do a program in those days called Harsha Online, and we had Glenn McGrath on the program. And I said, "Can I put you to the test?" And he said, "Okay." And I just threw a number. It might have been 189, for example. And he's just paused and he said, "Okay." He did the equivalent of this, wasn't exactly 189. And he said, "So 182 was when I went on that tour. In the first test, I got 6 wickets. So it would have been the first wicket of the next test match." And bang, he told me the right number. I said, "Okay, let's throw another one at you, Glenn. 332. And there he was. He told me who wicket number 332 was. And I said, hats off to you. This is insane. But that's how much he enjoyed the game. That's how much he was involved in the game. And he was just something else, was Glenn McGrath. Started in late 1993, but the cricket world first took notice of Glenn McGrath in 1995 when Australia went and breached a frontier that they hadn't been able to in the West Indies in 1995. I think Craig McDermott had broken down just before that, and so McGrath had to emerge as the key Australian bowler, and he just stood up to the challenge, as he was to all the way from then on till 2007. And through that career, he made it a habit of knocking over the best player in the opposition. Whether it was Michael Atherton, that's much documented, but it's amazing how many times he got Brian Lara as well. And when McGrath took the new ball and was at the top of his mark, it was like this was Australia coming at you. There was Warne, there was Gillespie, there was Lee, but in many ways, McGrath was the protector of that Australian bowling lineup. Much like Castrol Activ Activons protect your bike engine, whether it's running or off. He could be abrasive, Glenn McGrath. He could be in your face, and cricket has documented that many times. But they said about Glenn McGrath that he was the prime exponent of white line fever. He crossed the rope, got onto the ground, and suddenly there was this fierce person coming hard at you. But I was privileged to see the other side as well. Outside the boundary ropes, he could be gentle, he could be caring, he could be very committed, as we saw when he set up the McGrath Foundation. And after he lost his wife to breast cancer, and that was a very sad, depressing phase of his life. But he recovered from that to set up the Jane McGrath Day. And at the Test match in Sydney, whether it's the second day or the third day, there's always a pink day at the Test match in Sydney that raises funds for breast cancer awareness and to ensure that the next generation is protected against the ravages of a terrible disease. And already all of Australia has warmed to that. It's wonderful to come to the Sydney cricket ground that day and see the ground all swathed in pink.
I didn't get to know her personally a great deal, but every time I saw her, she just was so happy, had the biggest smile on her face of all time. And I know she'd be very proud of her legacy that's certainly been built up by the McGrath Foundation through Glenn over many years since her passing. So it's fantastic, and it sort of speaks volumes about the man of Glenn McGrath. Obviously, he was one of the great cricketers of all time, but he's certainly one of the great human beings of all time as well.
He was a mighty bowler, was Glenn McGrath, and we in India are now delighted that the legacy of McGrath continues with his position as well, the head in a sense of the MRF Pace Foundation, where he's teaching newer bowlers the nuances of cricket. Because McGrath wasn't a stare-away bowler. He wasn't someone who came and swung the ball round corners. He was a good old-fashioned back of a length, hit the deck line and length bowler, and he worked very hard for what he achieved. And from that point of view, he's emerging as a magnificent teacher. So much to learn from the career of one of the game's greats, Glenn McGrath, today our Castrol Activ champion.